We are live, so you know.
Good morning, and welcome to the annual meeting of Third Mutual. I would like to, we have a quorum. Everyone is here. So it is now time for our illustrious secretary, Bert Baum, to lead the Pledge of Allegiance, and he promised he won't sing it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second? Any comments? No? Okay, so the agenda passes by acclamation. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? And someone said, how could we be approving these? These are from a year ago. But thank goodness our secretary's still here.
I so move.
Second? All those in favor? So the next item is to acknowledge the press. Is the press here? Okay, no press. All right. Well, our infamous communication director is here, so what are you pointing at?
Lynn, she should really sit up front.
Oh, that's okay. All right. The goal of Third Mutual is to take care of our residents. We know that, and that this is, you know, we have homes, et cetera, but this is really a service business. We're here to serve. And all of our work, all of our efforts are based upon our efforts to take care of our residents. Thankfully, with the new staff we have in place, we aren't getting the usual 35, 40 emails a week from people who are having difficulties. But there's always room for improvement, and we always get phone calls, et cetera. I do want to thank this board, every one of the members of this board who are committed to this serving our residents, and for how hard you work, and for your endless energy and support of the community. Everyone says this is like one of the best boards they've ever come across, and I totally agree, so thank you. I would like to thank our staff. Some of them, well, not some of them, most of them, all of them are incredible. Some we work with more closely than others. There are new members to the staff that are outstanding, and we want to thank our soon-to-be-gone CEO, Brad Hudson, but we also want to thank him for helping us find Siobhan, because if ever we were to be left alone in the dark, Siobhan is the person to have with you, because she's very talented and very qualified. And thank you for only leaving us when you knew there was somebody there to help us. So we want to thank you. I'm not going to keep carrying on about all the things that we did and giving all the thanks, because everyone on this board has worked. And thank you to Eileen. We have put together a video presentation of all of the different things we have accomplished. So I am going to start with Bill, because he led the parade in many areas. So go ahead, Bill Walsh. We're waiting for Eileen to get started, too.
Yes, we need to.
Okay, here goes.
I think I'm ready.
The third year in review.
Okay, we're going to talk about energy and lighting and the initiatives that have really helped this community progress. Over the last year and a half, we've installed about a kilowatt, a megawatt of solar panels on 12 different buildings. And we finally got all of the accounting done. And in the first year, we've almost produced with the solar installations, $250,000 worth of electricity to offset our electricity bills in this community. And going forward, this is going to serve us for the next 25 to 30 years. And as energy prices go up, the energy we produce is going to go up to the energy that we produce, the price of that is going to go up as well. You can see that this installation has been put on the top of 3-story buildings. It's a really nice view of Laguna Woods and down into Irvine there. But these are 3 or 4 of the buildings that we put the solar on. Okay. We're going to back up one slide.
Back up one.
Okay. We're in the process. We signed a contract almost 2 years ago with Edison to purchase 788 street lights in Third Mutual. And the goal there was to give us the option to go to LED lighting without a high cost from Edison to do that, and to be able to start putting arms on some of the street light poles so we can put the light much out over the streets and the sidewalks. The state of that contract right now is that we're waiting on Edison. We have gotten the okay from the California Public Utilities Commission to purchase those lights. And now we have the Siemens Corporation, which is going to do the maintenance on these lights for us, doing inventory on the lights to make sure that we get what we paid for from Edison. We're not sure when Edison is going to come forward with with all of their documentation that they need to do, so we can sign the final contract and take possession of those light poles. We just went through and selected a contractor to replace over 300, almost 400 commercial dryers in the laundry rooms of the 3-story buildings and the freestanding or standalone laundry rooms. And that initiative is going to take place probably right at the first of the year. There is going to be a charge for these dryers, to use these dryers, in a very small charge, about 25 cents for 20 minutes on these dryers. But these commercial dryers are going to make it much more easy much more efficient in drying your clothes. That is the goal. And at the same time, there are a number of buildings that have vent issues, and we're going to take care of those while we're doing that, along with putting all of the washers and dryers on 10-inch high pedestals, so residents don't have to bend over so far to do their laundry and take their laundry in and out. We've replaced over 38 roofs this year with the new cooler PVC roofing, with 12 more scheduled by the end of 2018. This is what they look like when they're brand new, and they really are white. I've noticed on mine that was replaced about 4 years ago that it's starting to get a little dingy, but hopefully this is going to help reduce the amount of heat that people are getting into their manners, and because it reflects the sun much better. We just are finishing up a LED walkway lighting project, particularly in gates 5 and 6, where we're replacing the little pagoda-style light fixtures with these new bollards, which throw light further out into the sidewalk, and basically, hopefully, they would improve the safety while walking along those walkways. We know this is not the final solution because there are still a lot of dark areas in Third Mutual, and basically, we will be, over the next couple of years, looking at ways to add more lighting still. But we want to thank Ernesto very much for leading that charge. Ernesto Munoz, who is the head of maintenance and construction on VMS. And this wouldn't have happened without your lead on that, Ernesto. We appreciate it. Okay. Well, now we're going to go into maintenance, which is a big area. One of the biggest problems that we have, and most expensive problems that we have in Laguna Woods, is the dry rot. And we had a consultant go out through and do a representative sample of using a systematic method of 20 buildings that we felt were good candidates to see whether we're having dry rot problems in those buildings. Of the 20, we found 16 of them that are going to need repair for dry rot. One of the other things that we do in detecting dry rot is when we do our prior to paint. And that process has been going on for a lot of years. And in case folks don't know it, those of you who have wooden trellises over your walkways, when the prior to paint people come and they find dry rot in those trellises, they are going to offer you the option of us removing those trellises. We will not replace the trellis, but we will remove it for free. We're trying to reduce the amount of wood in the community to reduce the amount of dry rot because it's very expensive to replace. And the other thing that the consultant pointed out to us for dry rot was that we have a lot of architectural features in the community. I don't know if you see the, Ernesto, I'm not sure what you call them, corbels. They're corbels that are just aesthetic, and they tend to be a real source of dry rot. And if those corbels go into the building and into the structure itself, it's a real problem, so they get removed. So this is a real dramatic picture here of what happened to some of the stairwells when the roofs over the stairwells in the LH21 buildings began leaking years ago. And you can see what dry rot does. It literally made these stairwells incredibly unsafe. And they had to be totally repaired, and in many cases, steel I-beams were put in place instead of the wood beams to make sure that these were more secure for the long run. But it's a real problem. This is an after picture of what happened with that dry rot. You can't, of course, see the interior, but they did a really nice job of restoring this particular building. And during prior to paint, here's some of the activity they have to do when they find dry rot in beams supporting these buildings. We're going to have buildings in four additional cul-de-sacs will be completed by the end of 2018. And this is the corbels. This is where the corbels were sticking out, and they were dry rotted. And so we just took them off. They were just there for architectural aesthetic purposes, and they were actually causing problems with dry rot. So another very important initiative in the community is that we are going through over 90 buildings this last year, still working on it, to bore out these, as you can see on the picture before, where the cast iron pipes have corroded to the point of being blocked. And once they ream those out, they go through and put a plastic sleeve. They have a process for putting a plastic sleeve in those to protect the pipe and to extend the longevity of those drain lines. So a really very important program that's going to be going on into the future in the many years to come. Next. And this is basically a picture of what they're trying to do with the supply lines. Our copper supply lines are starting to develop and have been developing for ever since I've lived in the community, which is over 10 years. Pinhole leaks and in the copper. And this epoxy lining is a relatively inexpensive way to correct that problem compared to actually ripping out walls, tearing out all of the plumbing lines, and literally physically replacing them. This is a very cost-effective alternative to ensure that the pinhole leaks are stopped. Again, one of the activities that Third Mutual is responsible for is making sure that our cul-de-sacs are continue to be drivable. So we have a paving program of over 108,000 square feet of new asphalt was laid in 2018. And We are also responsible for the sidewalks and the drains, the open drains, and they're all concrete. All of the concrete work here is done in-house, or most of it is, and a lot of it had been neglected for years. And we did, Bruce Hartley, who works for Ernesto, did a magnificent job of organizing and detecting all of the areas that we need to replace the concrete with, and they've been doing a great job of reducing the number of problem areas with concrete. So this concrete program is, again, another one of those programs that will be ongoing. But this year they made a lot of progress in cleaning up the broken down and the broken drains and sidewalks. So we really appreciate that. That is really is important. Here we are with, we seal coated over 600,000 square feet of cul-de-sacs this year. And this is something that this seal coating goes on every year because we can't get to every cul-de-sac in a year. So 600,000 square feet is a pretty significant amount of coating, but this program, again, is another one of those programs that's going to be continuing on over the decades that come. Again, we fumigated 45 buildings for termites. And again, this is one of those problems. We live in an area where termites love to breed and eat. And so this is going to be an ongoing program, and it will continue for the years to come. Moisture intrusion is, again, another big issue that we have. And I think this is a great statistic because I think that some of the staff, Ernesto, is responsible for this. And taking it from 20 days to 16.3 days to repair the average water intrusion event is quite remarkable. You've got to remember that people literally have to move out of their manors and not only finding housing for themselves, but the real inconvenience of their home being disrupted. So basically, I think staff has really put a lot of effort and toward making this a better process for everybody. And garden villas and three-story buildings. We have spent a lot of effort correcting what I would consider to be lots of years of neglect. One of the things that we did this year was to do a pilot. Those green, if any of you have been in three-story buildings, the recessed areas where they put AstroTurf, I call it AstroTurf because that's what I grew up with, but the green turf in recessed areas, and a lot of people over the years have said, that may present a hazard with somebody stepping into one of those unbeknown and twisting an ankle or something. So we decided to do a pilot, and it was cost effective for us with the contractor to do 3 buildings. In the process, we opened up the drain, what are called weeps, along a lot of the the edges of the manors. You see the planters in this picture and areas under kitchens to make sure they weren't clogged, that they were draining properly. And this pilot, I'm not sure where we're going to go with this, but I do know that staff is going to continue to look at the drainage issues with the drains and the weeps to make sure that they're draining properly so we don't set up dry rot conditions in those buildings. But I find this to be a very nice picture here of what can be done. And they color-coded it so residents can put their own plants in those light areas, and the darker areas we leave as walkway egress areas. We did 10 garden villa mail rooms. They were renovated, they were painted, they were redecorated, and in some of them, I think did we change some of the mailboxes in some of those?
In the areas where in the areas where we had crime.
Okay, and we've been having some crime issues out, I think, by Gate 6, right, Roy and Jack? And we replaced them with sturdier mailboxes so they couldn't be broken into as easily. Then we've been going through and replacing old linoleum and vinyl flooring with epoxy, with an epoxy coating that has skid-proof material in it in the laundry rooms to make them less vulnerable to water that gets spilled on the floor. And we've done, I don't know the program, I don't know how many we've done this year, but we're going to continue this program until all of them have been epoxied, okay? And we went through and did 10 garden villa lobbies, and they were remodeled, they were painted. I'm not sure that we provided any furniture. I think we left their furniture in there. Yeah. What's that?
Just a shame.
We did the chandeliers. But I'm not sure I have a slide of it, but we also did a tremendous amount of work in the rec rooms. We replaced 9 heat pumps, 13 water heaters in the rec rooms. Oh, there we go. And some of the appliances we redid. We totally renovated 6 kitchens in six different rec rooms. We replaced several of the billiard tables and replaced card tables in several of the rec rooms. And again, this is one of those programs that's going to continue on. So I think that that's probably come to the end of the things that I have to say, except for the elevators. Yeah, right. Did I miss that slide when I was, okay. But we're also, where we have to, we're replacing the tile in the elevator floors when they get cracked. That tile's fairly brittle, and we found a material of vinyl that seems to be working really well. But one of the major things that we have to on a continuing basis is to maintain the elevators. People are very reliant on the elevators. There's, I think, 53, 54 elevators that Third Mutual is responsible for. And these elevators are checked all the time, and they're made. We actually literally do some wholesale renovation and putting in whole new equipment in these. So, I think that's, this is one of the costs of being here, is that we have to maintain these elevators in good working condition and try to make the environment look halfway decent when visitors come.
And in the elevators, when we redid the design, it was done where they put that metal bar in, which really helps as far as, banging into it and damage when people move in and out. So the redesign of the interior cabin should help it to last longer.
Well, thank you. Good. And we're back to the rec rooms. And I just want to say at the end of all that, before Roy starts in on his signs, is that I really, after 3 years being on this board and working with the VMS staff and getting the support we've had, it certainly is rewarding for, I think, myself and everybody on this board to see the things that we have asked staff to do, to see them come to fruition and be completed, and the ongoing programs that I know are going to continue to help this community. So, Ernesto, our thanks to you and your staff for all the hard work you've been doing. We appreciate it.
Wow, he got applause twice. Okay. All right, and we're not finished with him. Okay, Roy, go ahead, please.
First of all, they're not my signs.
What is your sign? What is your sign, by the way, Roy?
It's Scorpio, as you might well imagine. Third, during 2018, undertook a pilot project in the Gate 14 and Cul-de-sac 212 area to test out some new signs. And the most important thing we did was to approve and to test criteria for both the design and the placement of signs in the community. In terms of design, we wanted to make sure to the maximum extent possible that they were large enough and that they were highly reflective. And you can see in this picture that they meet both of those criteria. These are highly reflective signs. If they're too far away from the road, to be seen with headlights, and many of them can be seen with headlights. The emergency vehicles, every emergency vehicle I've ever been familiar with has a spotlight, and all they have to do is shine, and there they are. So in terms of placement, we wanted to make sure that the signs were, the building signs and the cul-de-sac signs were visible from cars. Whether you're driving into your carport or whether you're driving along a street, as when you come in gate 6, or if you're parked in guest parking, we want to make sure that those signs are visible from cars to the maximum extent possible. Obviously, in a 3-story building that's 100 yards from the nearest street, that's going to be difficult to do, but we try to do that to the most extent possible. We also wanted to make sure that the signs on buildings were placed in the same place, because there again, if emergency personnel know where to look, and in fact, if the pizza man knows where to look, or grandma knows where to look, and they're all in the same place in a particular location, they're more likely to be able to see them. And more importantly, we wanted to make sure that cul-de-sac signs, which present kind of an additional problem for us, because you know, the way this place was designed initially and over the years, cul-de-sacs aren't necessarily straight in a circle. Cul-de-sacs run all over the place. They're called cul-de-sacs. I'm not sure why, because the strict definition of a cul-de-sac is you go straight in and there's a circle. But we tried this one in the 212 cul-de-sac area, and it is visible at night. It is at eye level from the car. You can't miss it. However, we're not sure that's the best solution for the entire community, and I think that's really the last thing that we learned from this project, was that no, you know, one size doesn't fit all. You have to look at the particular terrain, you have to look at where things are and come up with good solutions. But at least we got the criteria set. And thanks to Ernesto, again, thank you Ernesto Munoz for ordering the signs that we approved and having his staff locate them. The prior to paint people are going to love these building signs because they come off with a screwdriver. You do not have to wrench them out. You don't have to replace them. All you have to do is unscrew them, and then you can paint the whole building, and you don't have to worry about overspray or whatever it is that you worry about. We will follow up, hopefully this year, with some more activity in this area. And the other thing we're trying to do, one of the things that hasn't been done completely with this project, is to trim bushes and trees that are in front of the placement of these signs. I know one particular area where we need to cut some bushes back, and that will happen. So again, I wanted to thank particularly our president, Rosemarie DiLorenzo. We spent a whole day walking all over Gate 14. I got a sunburn, which it took me months to get rid of. But we literally charted out the placement of every bloomin' sign up there. And I did 212, the same thing, went around to every single building and sketched it out and gave that information to Ernesto. But I think we're on the right track, as long as we understand that we're not going to get, everything's not going to be the same. We're going to have to, you know, vary it a little bit. So here endeth the lesson. Thank you.
Okay, so the next person up is Director Frankel, who leads our parking team, or not parking team.
Third has had a major emphasis on trying to enhance our parking circumstance, which is difficult. And so we have hired a consultant, and I want to thank Ernesto for doing an incredible job of administering the consultant contract. The consultant developed a chart, as shown here, that talks about how the parking circumstance exists. Here in the third mutual, you notice there's 4 colors there, and so what we're doing is comparing the approved parking with the parking circumstance with the acceptable parking. And in the dark green area, it's it's acceptable. But in the light green area, the available parking exceeds what is available. The parking exceeds what is available by 100%. In the orange area, by 200%. An example of the orange area is down by Clubhouse 4. And, excuse me, I'm sorry, the wedding cake is an example of the orange area. And then the red areas, the parking that's available exceeds what's required by 300 to 400%. An example is down by Clubhouse 4. And as a consequence, we did a red curb reset in these areas, and we have created approximately 500 to 600 parking spaces by sandblasting off the red curb and creating more area where possible. Unfortunately, in the example of the wedding cake, there isn't any, or very little red curb that exists, so there wasn't a lot of improvements that could be done as a consequence of this program. The LH21s have parking structures. Those are three-story. LH21s are three-story buildings, and they have parking structures, and they have a gap between the parking structures. And so staff determined that, gee whiz, we could, there's enough room for a golf cart in between. And so in some cases, they have taken out what little is there and put in golf cart parking. Unfortunately, some of the gaps, or many of the gaps, have really nice landscaping, and so that's a decision that has to be made. You take out the nice landscaping, which is certainly popular, and make room for the golf carts. And as another effort on the on parking, we have made a significant effort on parking enhancement, parking enforcement, I'm sorry. And right now, parking is permitted in the cul-de-sacs for unloading and loading, and also vehicles and equipment and materials immediately and directly required for the performance of work. But after that, we want the contractors to park on the streets and not in the cul-de-sacs. And we've had a major effort in that regard. And the word has gotten out, and we're seeing, for example, in traffic enforcement, where the number of tickets that are issued to contractors has dropped off significantly. So we've made some, the parking enforcement has made a difference, and has made a positive difference.
And I don't know if he's here, but we really want to thank our chief of security for working so diligently on that. Oh, but he left. He must be doing something about security. But in any case, we want to thank Tim Moy for that, because we keep working on it to try to make it better. There's nothing worse than walking out and seeing 4 construction vehicles in your visitor parking, and your guests have to park 3 blocks away or whatever. So it's really been working and improving. And we always try to get better, because in some areas that doesn't work either. So we just have to keep trying. Okay, the next area is our favorite. And we, because we have to work so diligently on it. And thank you, James. You're going to talk about landscape. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Rosemary. As showing on the screen, the Third Mutual Board, we have decided put the 3 priorities. The top one is the fire risk reduction. We definitely want to keep our community safe. That's why the fire risk reduction is the top priority. And then we improve the landscape, save water. Of course, part of our slope needed to be improved. And that's what I intend to show you. First slide, please. This is along our west edge of our community, along Bahia Blanca West, outer slope, because that's where the wind, breeze come from the coast. That's most easily cause the fire, so that's the top priority. Fortunately, we are thankful for the landscapes, Bruce and the staff. They already finished this part of work. So we don't have that risk anymore. As you can see, they're working on this summer, and all those brush, the extra plants being removed or cleaned. Next slide. And then of course, we have some of those before, those extra, a little bit of breeze coming can bring the fire up. So now after clean, now you can see there's nothing to be burned. Next. And then well, because the water is getting more expensive, and we don't have much rainfall, therefore our water bill is getting higher by the days. In order to save you our money, we have to try to reduce the water usage. And we do that in two different fashion. One, on the irrigation side, we have to try to convert, because our huge area of turf, grass, costs a lot of watering. We are putting together funds for next year for turf reduction, change that to more, we call it California or Mediterranean type of landscape to save more water. And you can see on the gate 10, gate area and other area, we started changing, remove the grass, changing to those water-saving plants. And yes, so also, and then also, well, unfortunately, that our community is more than 50 years old. We have a lot of old pipes, both on the residential side, in-wall pipes and the irrigation pipes. From time to time, they'll leak lots of water, waste away. A couple years ago, we used to have a lot of old toilets that leaking away water. Fortunately, we did that. We asked all the residents changing the old leaking toilet to water-saving toilet. That saved us a lot of money. In fact, in 2014, by doing that, we saved $600,000 in that year just for fixing the leaking toilet and irrigation, reduce the irrigation water. But now, still, from time to time, there are some of our people tend to use extra water, either for their guests or for watering their plants. That's why this picture is showing we have to constantly monitoring the residential usage. It's a picture of me, I'm getting old, but 2 years ago, I thought the best way to check out those meter with the tier 3, tier 4 water bills, the best way to check out whether that meter pipe is leaking or not is in the midnight, say 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up, I said, oh, that's the time to check, because soon, not too many people using water that time. So if the meter dial still runs, that means that there's a leaking associated with that meter, then we'll ask a plumbing department to fix it. Otherwise, if there's no leaking, as you can see next to the picture, there's a letter. According to our lawyer, we cannot penalize. So the only way we'll try to send out a letter, say, please save water. And that's the letter all about.
Okay,
Next.
thank you very much, James.
Oh, a few more things. So, in addition to this water-saving landscape, part of this water saving is changing the regular turf to ground cover. And this picture shows the ground cover. In fact, that's part of my yard. By changing to ground cover, as you can see, they're uniformly green, and then they don't need to mow. In fact, I had this for a year and a half. I rarely see them coming to the maintenance because they don't need it. And so that's why I want to give you this picture in addition to the water saving plans, also if you want to, when we start this conversion next year, you may have a choice. You're talking to the staff, landscape staff, and this we call the ground covers. And two more things. This year, the board already, our landscape recommended and the board approved. One is because of this pesticide Roundup is a poison and may hurt human beings' health and the pets. So we already made a resolution to stop using Roundup. That's very, very important. And also, because of the complications, potential wasting water, so we suspend the yellow stick program because we are waiting for the next board meeting to approve it. So right now, we just suspend the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, James. The next department, and we sort of have to speed it up with all of our presentations because we have a little bit of a time limit. So I always say that before Steve speaks. So go ahead, Steve.
I don't take that much time.
Okay.
Today, I'd like to talk about assessments, reserves, and key facts. And before I get started, we're going to be talking about the business plan here in a minute. But I want to tell you a little bit about how it was derived this year, which was different than prior years. This year, starting in January, Bruce, Ernesto, Chief Moy, and the other department heads sat down and looked at their entire programs, and they said, what are our requirements? Don't look at the bottom line. What are requirements and what's the money, the cost associated with it? So they did that, and at our first meeting, they laid it all out in front of us. And at that time is when it really came home to the board members that, hey, this is the program. This is what these folks are facing. These are what the things are that we've levied them to do. And how does that equate to man years? So all that came out in the open, and I think everybody was very happy with the presentation that everybody made. So based on that, we come up with our business plan. And our business plan is driven by requirements to fit into the modules, so to say, of how much money we have available. And I don't think anybody likes their assessments going sky high. So we trim these requirements down as much as possible. And based on that is how we come up with our business plan. But the plan for 2019, after it was all scrubbed down, and special thanks to Brad Hudson, our CEO, things came more into line. And as you can see here, the assessments only rose. The third mutual part was $4.26 per month per manor. I'm sorry, that was GRF's part. And third mutual was $4.54 per manor per month for a total of $8.80 per manor per month. Now, some people don't understand how GRF plays in this, but for United, it's United, what they require, and GRF that makes our package. For our package, it's Third Mutual and GRF, okay? So the combination of the two is what we assess everybody for to come up with your cost per manor per month on assessments. Next slide, please. Now, in here you see a history of our assessments. It's a bar graph, but don't let the big bar graph fool you here on 2019. If you look at the difference between the different bars, it's no more than around $10 per month per manor over the different years. So it's not drastically going up. Some people that are used to looking at slides where it's done in thousands of dollars, this could be considerable, but we're only talking here like $10, so don't let that fool you. Let's go to the next slide, which better depicts what our history's actually been. When you actually put it in context like this, you'll see where our assessments have basically been flat. Very little sharp increases, things like that. It's just been a steady little climb. And like I say, that's where things have been scrubbed down. Things that can be spread over time are spread. And we really get into the heart of the matter of what actually has to be done immediately. So we're able to control our assessments based on that. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, here's a GRF assessment history, and they are driven a little bit differently than we are in Third Mutual in that year by year, they can have various things hit them that they have to take care of. So that drives more sometimes, less than other times, and they can spread out things as well. So that's why you see such a difference between ours with the preceding slide and this one. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, in our reserves here, our reserves increased and decreased based on planned expenditures needed in certain years and contingency requirements. We develop a 30-year plan for our reserves and stay as close to the plan as possible. Our reserves are reviewed every year and adjusted according to known changes. We're very proud that our reserves continue to grow, and this allows us financial flexibility. And special kudos to Betty, which traps all this information and forecasts out for us, and then we look at it and deal with it. Next slide. Some people have asked about our resales and what's happening with it. Some people think that they're actually declining. This is a false assumption. They are increasing, so you can be happy that your residence is increasing in value. For instance, the average resale price year-to-date through August 2018 is $419,121. This is up considerably from last year, and I believe that United has increased as well. Next slide, please. Some people have also asked, what's the comparison in closed sales between us in the village and our neighboring communities? Well, this plots in blue the Laguna Woods Village, and then in red is Aliso Viejo. And you can see that we're almost a mirror image of each other. And I learned yesterday on the radio that sales are slowing down in Southern California. So it's not going to be just unique to us. It's going to be unique to all communities. So this should help answer that question that some people have, and that we are very close with our neighboring communities. Okay, here's some key financial facts, and I'll let you read them, but I want to add some more to it. This year, your money at work actually kicked in earlier than in previous years. Work began much earlier in 2018 simply because we asked staff, and staff was already ahead of us in this, of annual contracts, getting them signed in January rather than waiting until some weren't signed until July in previous years. And some people said, well, hey, we've got like 3 different contractors showing up on our doorstep at the same time. Said, well, okay, we'll deal with that. But they were happy that the work was being done. So that was a big plus to us this year. And that actually gave us more flexibility in this time period. As work is completed, then what do we do with extra time, or what do the departments do with the other time, the man hours? So it gave us more flexibility there. This year, there was very, very close board and staff coordination and planning. It was just outstanding through the whole year. There were times where I had questions on finances. I'd go to Bruce, I'd go to Ernesto, I'd go to Betty, Chief Moy, and I'd say, hey, I need some wisdom here. 5 minutes, I had an answer. And it made sense. So we were able to do that, and I think actually stay out of their way more probably than prior years. Okay. We also had excellent management and execution of programs. We forecasted small, and we are forecasting a small remaining balance at the end of the year. So everything is going according to plan, and I think more smoothly than it's ever happened in the past. One of the other things that we did starting a couple years ago, actually, we started looking at earthquake insurance. We actually got into this, studied it. We took a trip to Caltech. There were 20 of us that went there and talked to geologists. And based on that, we were able to afford, actually, earthquake insurance. It came down significantly from what it was in 2008 to what it is now. So it's very affordable. So we want people to know that we actually have coverage for the mutual. This is not private residence matters, but for the mutual, we do have earthquake insurance. So the last thing I have here is that I would like to recognize our finance committee members for their diligence, their analysis that they've done, and their contributions that they've made to the board has just been invaluable. They're very analytical people. They are experts in their fields, and they brought a lot to bear that really helped out the Finance Committee this year. And I'll mention two of them, and another person is here, and I'd like to recognize him, but the first person is Mr. John Hess, served with us for a period of time. Wei Ming Tao, who was my predecessor as a treasurer here, and Mr. Michael Cunningham. Mr. Michael Cunningham is here, if you'd stand, please. He has been an international banker and knows a lot about investments. So these people are very, very talented, along with Betty. They were very, very helpful. Oh, Wei Ming. Yeah. If you'd stand too in the back. Okay. Great to have you here. But I want to recognize these people because they've put in time and a lot of analysis on what's been going on. So with that concludes mine.
Just because a director isn't presenting doesn't mean that a director isn't working as hard as everyone else. We have one board member, Bunny Carpenter, who we won't sign a contract unless Bunny said it's okay. So it has to be written in the corner of the contract, okay by Bunny. So, and you have no idea as to how important that is to us and how much we value her. So Bunny is our silent partner sometimes, but she does such a fabulous job, so thank you, Bunny. And then... And then we have two other board members who aren't presenting today because they're our newer board members, but it's all over now. So we want to thank Jack Connolly and Kush Bada for being new members of our board, and they already know what they're lined up to handle for next year, so they're very excited. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to someone who has been invaluable to the board. We're very sorry to lose him, as we are sorry to lose Bill. And before you do start, Bert, though, this is the first time we've ever had our legal counsel at the board where we are sitting, because we don't like to spend the money. So she could only come to our closed session, and she has done an incredible job for us in the sense that this is the first year, and Bert, I don't want to say it, but where when we're involved in litigation or challenges with residents, where we actually charge them for all of the legal costs, and we actually get it back. So we're always amazed when we look at how much we're spending, and we go, wait, and then we're getting money back. And Bert has commandeered that along with everything else that he does. So now it's up to you, Bert.
Thank you. Don't be concerned. Sandra said this is free today.
Good thing. Funny, write that down.
Anyhow, Rosemary just kicked me. I have 3 minutes and 27 seconds to go through all these slides. And what I'm going to talk about first is compliance. A lot of people don't know that we even have a compliance division, and their job really is to husband all the complaints that come in, and they are now part of security under Tim Moy, and they work with security to investigate various complaints, and if there are violations, they follow up on them. And they have, under Tim, they've been much more aggressive, and their staff has been increased. So I want to recognize Tim Moy and Francis Rangel, who is the head of compliance. And we also work very closely with Pam Bashline, who is in community services. And I continue along this line. Bunny Carpenter is a member of our task force. About a couple of years ago, we recognized that compliance and residency issues were really critical, and we formed a task force, excuse me, to look into these problems and to try and resolve them and handle them in an effective manner. So Bunny Carpenter, our president, Rosemary, and Roy Brunninghouse has been part of the staff, as the membership and along with Steve Parsons. So the first thing we wanted to do was work closely with the staff to identify serious violations and cite violators so we could promote safety, security, and the well-being of the residents. And I would like to point out that the whole effort on the part of everyone is to make this place more comfortable for the residents, a kind of place that you want to live in and other people would want to move here to live in. So I would say this is the underlying driving force to what we have done. And as part of what we did, I think you're missing a slide here. I think it starts with clutter, right? Okay. And part of what we've done is to classify the various violations and keep track of them. And it turns out, and this is somewhat of a surprise, that clutter is the #1 violation. There's a lot of clutter going on in the community. About 40% of the cases that we handle or compliance handles has to do with clutter. Now, most of the time, it's not a very serious situation. This is an example here of interior clutter. There's exterior color in the carports. Those of you who have carports know that. But this might be an indication of a more serious problem. And people who clutter may have other issues, and that's why we also have a social services department that is part of the security's efforts. So they get involved too. So may I have the next slide? And as I said, here's another beautiful example of clutter, and we're working to identify people who are doing this. These plantings, many of them are in common area. They're a no-no. They don't look very nice either. So it really degrades the appearance of our community. And as part of the effort, we introduced an actual matrix, and I have to thank Steve, who's really spearheaded this, where we actually categorize the seriousness of a violation, and depending on where it fits, we have 3 levels. If it's really serious, we have shortened the time for hearings and to cite the violators, and we're doing that very aggressively. May I have the next? Okay. We also got involved in other issues. This is an effort that landscaping worked with us. We have Bruce Hartley as well as Tim Moy. Along Ridge Route, where it meets Carlotta particularly, there was a forest. And what we had was people camping out there, not the kind of people you actually want to have as neighbors. And as you can see, because it was hidden from view, these are the kinds of things when you went in there you saw. And also, many of the people here, or some of the people here, actually used it to try and gain access to this community. So we realized that as a problem, and in order to do that, can you have the next slide? Bruce Hartley and Tim Moy arranged for an outside outfit to come and clean the area up. So if you pass by there now, you can see that it's really very nice looking. We've gotten rid of all the debris. We've gotten rid of the forest. And now it's much less accessible to people who want to use it as a camping area. And we feel that's a real safety benefit to the community. And as the next step, we're going to put this shepherd's crook on top of the wall. And that's in progress right now. And we're obviously making the wall higher. So we feel that this will certainly alleviate this problem, and people living there will feel much more comfortable. I want to point out, and Tim Moy has said this too, this is not a community that is crime-ridden. We have one of the best records in terms of safety in Orange County. What we have is a lot of petty theft. So it's not very serious, it's just more inconvenient. So we want people to relax. This is not a real serious issue for this community. Thank you. Next. Okay, now I'm going to talk about communications. We have a communications committee. I'm the chair of the communications committee. We have Bunny again on our committee, Rosemary, Jack Connolly just joined us. And we work very closely with Eileen Paulin, who is our new Director of Communications and is doing a bang-up job. So we want to thank her for that. And she put this whole talk together in 17 minutes, she told me. So that was a world's indoor record. Thank you very much. So what do we want to do? We want to obviously improve communications to the residents, because one of the things we want to promote is transparency. We feel the residents have a right to know what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how much it's costing them. And in order to do that, first we get to the new resident orientation. We want to get the resident familiar with the community and the setup and the regulations right off the bat. So when they move in, they feel more comfortable about what's available to them, what kind of rules exist, what facilities exist, and how they can use them. So we've had 108 new residents attending, and Pauline and her staff have been Eileen has been very aggressive in getting new residents to be aware of these sessions and to attend them. And in addition to the new resident orientation, we have docent tours. We used to have 2 a week. I don't know if we're still having that. And this is an opportunity for people to get on a bus and see the community. They're driven around the community and see what the facilities are, and it's a way to get people interested in moving into this community. Thank you. So here's all the kinds of things that Eileen has been doing, okay? You've been getting various blasts on email covering all the activities that are going on. And they're done on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, and as-needed basis. And we are stressing doing that even more, making it more effective. So we're trying to upgrade our literature and handouts to make them clearer. Here's an informational e-blast that comes out on Fridays when you see what's up in the village. Here's the Village Breeze. So this is a monthly that's published by all the boards. And I have to say, this actually was started by Third. We had our newsletter first, and then it grew, and it covers the whole community. It's free, and you can get it online. And here are some of our print communications that, again, tells you what's going on in the community in terms of recreation and things you can do. And also, we are writing letters. And what's important about those letters is we want people to know what's going to affect them before it affects them. So if there's construction or like this project we showed you where we cleared all the brush, we send letters, and Eileen has been really careful about that, to the residents that are most directly affected, telling them what's going to happen, alerting them to any inconvenience so they can act appropriately. And of course, our directors appear on TV every Monday morning on TV6, giving you an update about what's happening. And, you know, we have budding TV stars on this board. I'm sure you watch them very eagerly every week. And we also go out and we will meet with groups and talk to them about that. And of course, there's the village website, which has everything you ever want to know about this village. And it can give you agendas for various meetings, minutes, resolutions, what's happening. You can get the Village Breeze on our website. So we recommend that. And here's a really critical thing that we're doing through communications. That's the code red way to contact all our residents, and we can do it either by phone or using all these manners to let them know if there's a really serious or emergency situation in the community. So I want to thank Eileen. I want to thank you all.
Okay, so there's certain things that we did that no one wanted to take responsibility for, so they left it to me. And we've had to do some things to, again, because we're concerned about your safety, we're concerned about the value of your home, we're concerned about just making this a better place. So in the past year, we have put restrictions on giving common area away. We don't do that. We have put more restrictions on what your alteration standards could be like, and we constantly work with the team, and Bill headed that team, to improve and update our alteration standards, and we're working very closely with staff to make the entire process an easier process. We have suspended the Yellow Stake program, which James already mentioned, because it was more of a challenge than an opportunity. We now have mandatory inspections of unoccupied manors, which we work very hard diligently with Sandra, and this is really required by our insurance company. We have improved, some people don't think it was improved, but we know it is, improved our leasing policy. We're still working on improving the caretaker policy. We're actually working with social services, and our goal there is not to make it more difficult. Our goal there is to protect the community from having people taking care who really might not be taking care. And we've also looked at some of the things that we're doing and tried to figure out when a fee should be charged for it, because it's an individual actions that we're working on, and why should the entire community bear the burden of an individual resident's issue? We've also, so those are the things that some of them were challenging, but we've also accomplished a good deal. We've worked very closely, and I would say more so with United, because they are a housing mutual, and this is really an adventure for all of us. And working with them, we've got them to accelerate the installation of the gates. We've worked with them and worked with our general manager to try to get GRF to understand more reasonable spending, especially in the areas of pickleball and the supposed improvements, or the proposed, not supposed, sorry, proposed improvements to the Performing Arts Center. We've extended the GRF trust. We've worked to have more uniform charging, like why are we charging this much for that something and United is charging something else, because it's really should be the same. And we're not talking about the assessments, we're talking about different fees, so we work very closely with them on that. We're working diligently to try to get a credit card program approved in the community, so if somebody wants to pay their assessments with a credit card, they can. But the biggest thing for us is if they want to get a chargeable service and pay for it with a credit card, they can. And that is so much better for us, because we have quite a challenge, and Steve knows this, of collecting from people who get a chargeable service and then decide that they don't want to pay for it. We have, and this is the Burt Baum Memorial chargeable service list. He promised for 3 years that we were going to have a chargeable service list, and it has been approved. And it is hopefully in circulation. I don't know if I could run to the first desk and get a copy of it, but it's supposed to be there. Is it, Siobhan? And, right. And we're working very closely on that. And we also have instituted monthly presidents' meetings where we work with the presidents of the different board and also the chair and vice chair of VMS. We want to thank our VMS members especially for third, and Donna's here, so thank you, Donna. And we want to thank John for your volunteer work in helping us with the election. Now that you see that the board is very busy, we want you to know that we do have a position available in case anyone after today is inspired and they want to run. We have a position available on third board, and we have a position that will be coming up on VMS. And both of those positions, you can go to our administrative assistant, who we're also thanking for your hard work, Cheryl Silva. You could go to Cheryl and you can get an application at any time for either the board or for VMS. And Eileen has guaranteed me that she's going to put out a notice which gives you the cutoff dates. And then I believe the first week of November, we will be appointing both the board member and the VMS member. So that's just to let you know, because it is good and exciting and fun to be on the board. And look at how hard we try to make this community better. I did notice when I looked at the agenda that it has no room for comments by the general manager. Did we do that on purpose? So in any case, it's not there. So I don't know if we only have a minute. Is there anything you want to say, Brad or Siobhan?
Yeah, I think I probably should. I do want to thank this board for the opportunity to work on so many interesting and exciting projects. I mean, you look at the list, the variation in the many things that have been accomplished, and it really is quite astounding that so much has been done so quickly. And I applaud you all. I don't think people really understand how hard this board works. They put a lot of time in. They're very capable.
Don't make it frightening, Brad.
No.
We're looking for somebody.
But, you know, it is a lot of work, but it is very rewarding because you're actually getting things done. I think for years, people served, and maybe it wasn't quite as rewarding because you put a lot of things in the pipe, but nothing ever came out the end. And I think now we've got, Rosemary's got a pretty big foot, I've got a pretty big foot too, and so between the two of us, we've been able to push a lot out, and we have a very capable staff as well, who's very responsive and loves to get things done. And so I think, even though I'm leaving, and I will miss you all, the relationships I've been fortunate to enjoy in this community probably surpass anything I've ever experienced in any other career I've had. So that part I will miss more than anything. But I feel you're in very capable hands with the staff, with Siobhan leading them. I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to serve you and to serve these residents. And I thank the residents for not only the warm welcome that I received when I got here, but the wonderful notes of thanks and appreciation and goodwill that I received over the last 3 weeks. So thank you, Rosemary.
Thank you, Brad. Siobhan, did you have anything? Okay, at this point, this is tough. I have to acknowledge the directors with expiring terms. And, no, I don't? What do I have to do? No, number 8, it says acknowledge directors with expiring. He's trying to dictate already. In any case, I want to acknowledge the directors with expiring terms, and that is Bert Baum, who we have already said, Bert has been with us for these 3 years, and he has been absolutely incredible. He's a dear friend, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. So thank you, Bert. We never realized how incredible Bill was until I had to take some time off and my husband died, and Bill just ran everything. And he just kept running everything, and I just couldn't say I kicked back, but it certainly made my life a lot easier because he is so talented and he is such a great leader. And we're really sorry you're leaving, Bill. We don't even want to realize it. And we thank you for all that you have done for this board. Thank you, Bill. And Jules Allen, who is also a director whose term was up, has resigned from the board. So it is now where we could talk about the election results, and I would turn that over to Bert Baum. This would be your last
My last official act.
foray.
Yes. Okay. In case you didn't know it, I'm pleased to announce the results of the election, okay? And the two new members, new directors. First is Paul Chow. I think he feels it's okay to call him Paul. And then there's Lynn Jarrett. And both their terms expire in 2021. I didn't even know your name was Lenta, so I learned something new. Okay, Lynn, we want to welcome you to the board. As Rosemary mentioned, we still have one vacancy, so we are looking for applicants for the board. And as part of this, I want to acknowledge the Inspector of Elections, who was Dan Pavich of Martin and Chapman. They've done that for 100 years, I think. And we also want to thank the volunteers who participated in the counting of the ballots from the community. That was a very valuable service. And we want to thank the residents for voting, because this was a situation where there actually was no contest, but we needed to achieve a quorum, or we would have to hold this election again. And we did get the quorum. We needed 15%. We got more than 15% of eligible voters to vote. So we want to thank you for doing that, too.
Okay, at this point, it doesn't have anything about where we tell you to leave the dais. We ask the new people to come up. So I guess you just sit on, and they sit on your laps.
Yes.
No, okay, so at this point, we thank you again. And we invite the new members, Paul and Lynn, to come up to the dais. Thank you. I almost fell down. And don't get excited that you're sitting up here right next to me, that you're going to get work right away. It's just how it happened. So you could let Lynn sit over here. Okay, so while we're waiting for them to take their seats, so Lynn and Paul, I want to reintroduce the continuing directors and when their terms expire. I'm Rosemary, and my term expires next year, my last term. We have Kush Bada, and his term will expire in 2019 because you were appointed. Jack Connolly, your term also expires in 2019. Steve Parsons, your term expires in 2019. So in 2019, you need 4 directors. And I can't rerun, so we hope you 3 do. And then we have Bunny Carpenter. Her term expires in 2020. John Frankel, Roy, and James, all of yours expire in 2020. So thank you very much for continuing to be on the board. Welcome to the board. You too. At this point, we would ask if are there any members of the audience who wish to say something? I'm turning this over to Cheryl.
We have one request to speak from Juanita Skillman.
Okay.
Thank you for allowing, Thank you for allowing me to speak, even though I'm not a member of Third Mutual. I wanted to express my appreciation to this board and particularly your executive leadership, for the wonderful interaction that we have developed between our housing mutuals. It has made a big difference. Learning from you, hopefully you're learning some from us, working together on joint task forces. Even though there are differences between our mutuals, there's a lot of commonality as well. And we've been able to put that together. So I just want to say congratulations to those of you that are staying. Congratulations to your new member. And I look forward to working with all of you in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Juanita. You know, in the past, a style was used here, which certainly was like divide and conquer. So the boards didn't work together as a team, and there's so much more that you get done by working together as a team. You know, we don't say, oh, you know, maintenance is doing more work in United than it is in Third. You know, it was that kind of environment. Now it's just, you know, wow, you're doing this. This sounds like a good idea. Maybe we should try it too. What is it like? So there's a lot of sharing. So thank you very much.
We have another request to speak from Lily Lotcher.
It was really nice. This was a wonderful presentation.
Thank you. And we have to
Usually-
thank Eileen for that.
Yeah,
And the
usually-
board.
Yeah, usually it's in Clubhouse 5, and there's, if lacked or not, LOLA. What I wanted to talk about was in Third, in the area where I live, about the landscaping. I've lived here 16 years, so I don't want to be told you don't know what's going on. And ever since they started using recycled water, trees that have lived for years are dying, and it's been worse and worse. Actually, I was happy yesterday that one of the supervisors in my area is still around, because they've been firing everybody who was in landscape. In my opinion, there's no one left in landscape who knows anything. And it happens, he was by yesterday, and I talked to him, and this was the first time I heard somebody, without my saying anything, that he does believe the recycled water has chemicals in it that are killing our trees. For example, I have a couple of fruit trees, which I have never had to help with extra water or anything, and everything's gone yellow. No fruit. A pomegranate tree in the back, which usually has 100 pomegranates, it's got 3 little tiny pomegranates on it. And in my opinion, what we need is someone to actually please to look into this water situation and see if the guy who is a supervisor that I was talking to yesterday, and he told me he is of the opinion the chemicals in this recycled water are killing stuff. When this started happening, I actually called the water department. They were very nice. They sent somebody over, and I walked him around. I live on a high cul-de-sac, 321, and all around there, when I walk my dog in the morning, just trees that have lived for years are dying. And another thing, which perhaps is just in my area, there are creatures that are so tiny it looks like a speck of black dust that are now in my house, in the bathrooms, in the kitchen sink. They're so tiny, and I've never seen the like of that before. So that is something that, if there's something I could do about that, I'd like to know how to take care of that situation. But the worst part of it is that my unit was declared a disaster area, because about now, I think it's been over a year, all of a sudden this beautiful, beautiful weeds started growing with little blue flowers. In the 16 years I lived there, it hasn't been there. They came and cleared it up. Doesn't help. It's a disaster area again. They promised to have this done in September. The guy, Jay, who was in charge at that time, now he's been fired. We really, really need help up there in the landscaping and finding out if this water that is now being used for our landscaping is healthy enough.
Okay, thank you very much for bringing your concerns. We do have your Manor number. Okay.
3367.
Okay, so we will have, Siobhan will get back to you on all of the things that you brought up, so we can take care of them.
Yeah. We'll
So-
also, we'll talk to El Toro Water
Right.
District. As far as we know, the only thing is extra, maybe a little bit of extra salt. But we'll talk to El Toro Water, see what other chemicals in the water.
Okay, excuse me, excuse me, we don't allow a debate from the audience. We heard. All right, so in any case, please bear in mind two very key things. We have not gone around and fired everyone. And number two, we, before the water was allowed into the community, a good amount of testing and information was made available. So those are two things. But Siobhan will get back to you, as James will say, make sure that we get back to you. And thank you very much for bringing your comments to our attention. Okay, so now we are up to the last part of the meeting, which is, I could adjourn it, but I want to give the directors a chance to make any final comment. So, Jack? No. Bunny? No. John?
Thank you, Bill, and thank you, Bert.
Okay, Steve?
Yeah, in addition to that, I would like to thank the United Board and GRF working closely with us. It means a lot. We also have a treasurers meeting that we call when we need to, discuss commonality of situations and initiatives, and I really, really appreciate that.
Thank you, Steve. James? Lynn?
I'm looking forward to working on this board because I think it's a great board. Thank you.
Thank you. Paul?
Yes, I try to find out where to push.
There it is, it's on.
I'd like to thank everybody who voted for Lynn and myself. I'm looking forward to work for you in the near-term future, starting from now.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you. Roy? Kush?
I want to thank Bert and Bill
Whatever your name
for
is.
their leadership. And we will miss, I will at least miss you guys on the board, and I want to welcome Lynn and Paul, and looking forward to working with you.
Siobhan?
Thank you. I just want to echo Cush's comments and welcome our new board members and thank our outgoing board members. It's been a pleasure to work with both of you.
Cheryl, anything? I don't know if I should ask you to say anything, Sandra, because I'd be afraid. So all I could say is welcome and thank you for your constant support. We all become like smarter every day. We all say, God, we should have taken law courses. In any case, I do want to thank Bert and Bill. I'm speechless, imagine that. So thank you all, and we will try to survive without you, but we'll be calling you. In any case, this meeting is adjourned, and we will immediately follow with our organizational meeting. Thank you. Going to re-adjourn in 5 minutes. To reconvene in 5 minutes.
election of officers yet? No. Oh, okay.
Okay, seconded by Paul. Good, that's Paul's first action. He seconded, we'll start big. All right, good job. Come on, Jack, we're waiting. All right, we need a motion to approve the minutes.
I so move.
Do we have a second? Second. All right, all those in favor? All right. At this time, we could have member comments. There any members who would like to make a comment? No. Okay, good. All right, so at this time, we are going to elect the officers of third. We need a motion to open the nominations.
So move.
Second? All right. All those in favor? All right, so do we have any, so the first position that we always fill is president. Do we have any nominations for president?
I nominate Rosemary.
I second.
Third.
No, I don't think you quite do it like that. But I have to say I accept the nomination, okay? Do we have any other nominations?
I move nomination cease.
So therefore, the nominations are closed. We have one candidate, so the candidate wins by acclamation, okay? I accept the position of president. Yay! All right, so the next position is the position of first vice president. And now I could do it. Do we have any nominations? You nominate Steve Parsons? Okay.
I nominate Steve Parsons to be the vice president.
First vice
First
president. Okay, do we? You seconded, okay. Do you accept that nomination?
I do.
He's going to say no. No. You do. Okay, so he accepts it. Do we have any other nominations for first vice president? No? Okay, then do we all agree that Steve will be the first vice president? All right,
Yes.
so you get the office by acclamation. I don't want to miss that. All right, the next position is the position of second vice president. And I nominate James Tung.
I second.
Do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I accept.
Good, then he'll stay on the board for another year.
I don't know about that.
Okay, do we have any other nominations for second vice president? No, okay, James, you are second vice president by acclamation.
I accept. Thank you.
All right, the next position is secretary.
I nominate Roy Bruninghouse.
I second.
Do you accept the nomination?
I do.
He's been going for this since the first day he's been on the board. Okay, so in any case, all right, so are there any other nominations for secretary? Okay, so the position is filled by acclamation. Congratulations, Roy. And the last position is treasurer. Oh, I guess it can't be Steve.
I nominate Jack.
Jack Conley, treasurer. Okay, do you accept the nomination?
Only if Steve will work closely.
No, he's going to work closely with me. Sorry. Okay.
You know, Jack's fairly new to the board, so maybe the audience would like to know some of his background.
What audience? Them? Oh, yeah. Them? Okay. Well, I think that can we vote and then he could tell them? All right. All right. So do we have any other nominations for treasurer? Okay. Jack was basically sort of hand-picked. I mean, we wanted someone with a financial background, and not that we had hundreds of people lining up to be on the board, but he was a very good fit for this board. So he accepts the nomination. We have no other candidates at this point, so he is now the treasurer by acclamation. So Jack, could you just tell us for 1 minute what about yourself?
In a sense, I'm an accidental financial expert. I was tasked with the job about 25 years ago of building a defined benefit pension plan and managing it for 50 employees. That was quite an education. I can give you some assurance that 25 years ago, I did everything wrong. But since then, I've straightened my understanding of how finance works. I've also worked in government finance. I ran the City of Chicago's Health Systems Agency for a couple of years, and this was a federally funded program that was responsible for controlling healthcare costs. We did a brilliant job. If you wanted to build anything or spend a capital, make a capital investment of $50,000 or more, a healthcare provider had to come to us first. We also had to approve or disapprove bond issues. The biggest one I worked on was University of Chicago that came to us in 1980 for $300 million. We wanted to turn it down. Politically, we couldn't, and they almost went bankrupt. That's, I guess, the highlights of the work I've done in finances.
Thank you very much, Jack. So basically,
Rosemary?
what?
Mention too about your education background.
I hold a PhD from Cornell University, a master's from Northeastern, and a bachelor's from Xavier University.
Okay.
I also am
In
on-
what?
In what?
In what?
Which degree?
Yeah,
The PhD was in anthropology.
Wow.
The master's degree was in special education. I worked with disabled kids, and the bachelor's degree was, was English and general studies.
Okay, so now what we have to do now is we have to have a resolution. Is that correct? We have to vote on a resolution renaming all of the people. So we need, it's all in your agenda packet. It's the last page of your agenda packet. So it says resolved on October 4th, 2018. So do we all see that? So we need a motion for this resolution.
I so move.
Second? All right. So do we have to, Bert, we're going to ask Bert, do we have to read this resolution and fill it all in? Okay, so can you do that? I'll read it. Resolved on October 4, 2018, pursuant to the Third Laguna Hills Mutual Bylaws, Article 9, which sets guidelines, terms, and responsibilities for the election of officers to this corporation, the following persons are hereby elected to the office indicated next to their names. President, Rosemary DiLorenzo. First Vice President, Steve Parsons. Second Vice President, James Tung. Secretary, Roy Bruninghouse. Treasurer, Jack Connolly. Resolve further that the following staff person is hereby appointed as an ex officio officer of the corporation. Shaban Foster as Vice President, ex officio, and Cheryl Silva as Corporate Secretary. Resolve further that Resolution 3-17-123, adopted October 5th, 2017, is hereby superseded and canceled, and resolve further that the offices and agents of this corporation are directed on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. So I so moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? We're done. This meeting is,
Adjourned.
I was going to say resolved. This meeting is adjourned. Okay, we have to adjourn upstairs to the Willow Room for a closed session very quickly.